So you always hear all of these videos and stories about how nice it is to be in a relationship with somebody who values you, respects you, and sees you as an equal, all of that fun stuff. But no one ever talks about this transition period between leaving a relationship that isn't necessarily the best for you, whether it's toxic or unfulfilling or just not the person you're supposed to be with. No one ever talks about this phase where you leave that, and excuse me while I undress a bit, and my daughter's having a bath, so we're doing two things at once this evening. But no one ever talks about this transition period between like leaving that relationship and finding yourself in one where you do find all of those things, and how difficult it can be to be willing to accept that kind of love. No one ever really talks about how almost traumatic the experience is, because you go from having one particular viewpoint and one particular response to things, and all of a sudden none of that happens. It's all totally crazy different. Not that necessarily the person that you were in a relationship with before is this terrible big bad human. Sometimes they are terrible big bad humans, but sometimes they're just the people that you're not necessarily supposed to be with, and that's okay. Life isn't always about the destination. Sometimes it's a bit of a journey too. But no one ever really talks about this period of transition where you question, she's making so much noise, where you question everything. You question their intentions, you question your feelings for them, you question every, yeah baby, I hear you. You question all of that stuff. Everything is fight or flight. And it's really hard. Like, you go from experiencing one particular reaction to things or anything like that, and to have someone who's so vastly different can be really, really jarring. And you would think it would be so refreshing to be in a relationship with somebody who, you know, gets you and, you know, sees you in this wonderful light. But it can be really, really hard when you're so used to something so drastically different to be willing to accept the kind of love that you're supposed to have. The kind of love that feeds you, makes you feel whole, makes you feel like you're at home. And I really think that we should talk a little bit more about how traumatic it is to experience something that's not traumatic. Anyone else kind of feel that way? Just me? Good thing.